Hello and welcome back and happy No Bada Bings Day. I would love to start the show. What? No what? No kings? I don't know about all that. I only know of one king, Yeshua Jesus Christ, the only king. Elvis used to say he never liked being called the king of rock and roll. And that's what he would always say. There's only one king. I'm just a singer. And the true king is Jesus, Jesus Christ. I'd like to start the show off by paying homage. It's a little windy today. And I would like to pay Wednesday. I picked it up for like $1. I would love to start the show off by paying homage to the great musical icon, Ace Frehley of Kiss. Um, I remember when Kiss first came out, everyone was like, oh, what is this? They had David Bowie, they had Iggy Pop, they had Todd Rundgren, who did a lot of the glamour kind of rock and roll at the beginning. Um, Elton John at the time started getting into the glam rock, um, probably around that time, maybe a little before, 73, maybe 74. He started doing it. Could have done it before then. I know he was doing a lot of the glam rock with the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. So when Kiss first came out, I didn't knock them. I was into the whole Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd, Jethro Tull, Grand Funk Railroad, Moody Blues, people like that. Not taking anything from Kiss. I have worked their tour 5 times, at least 5 times, and I've met them all. They're great guys, and I did a tour when Ace Frehley was with them, and I had met Gene Simmons, and man, he's a pretty tough guy, man. He's all business, I'll tell you that. I got pictures with them all. I have this one picture. They're being escorted in, and I was standing right there, and they're being escorted in by a policeman. And look, when I snapped the picture, when I tell you I caught it perfectly, at the end of this video, I'm going to get the picture out and show it to you. It's a one of a kind. It's a great picture of all four of them, um, like, from the side. Pretty cool. But this is McFarland's Kiss figures. That's Ace Frehley. I have all the other ones, but, I wanted to pay special attention to Ace Frehley since we recently lost him. And here, now I showed you before the unbuilt box of the John F. Kennedy figure from 1960. Well, it was designed in 64 and released in 65. And this is John F. Kennedy. This is a 1965 figure of JFK, very sought after. I have one still in the box, never built. This one is James Bond. He came out in 1965 as well. 66, maybe. And he comes also, there was another model that came with him with Odd Job. And I have both of them in a box, never opened. And this one, 1964, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, original Aurora model kit. Now, I have another one unbuilt. Both came in the long box. The other, like some of my other Aurora model kits, which if you could find them sealed, oh, you have some bucks, okay? And they are sealed. And this one from 1968 is Dick Tracey. I always dug this model, and it was a fun model kit, to build. Very detailed, really cool, man. I loved it. I loved it. It's got the little rubbish in the garbage can, and you know, little stuff like that. And I painted it. Gosh, maybe it was probably in my 20s when I decided to open it up and build it. So you're talking quite a few years. I'll just say that. And these are, you know, things that I've always loved. I've always loved doing the Aurora model kits, and it's just a fun thing to do. You know, when you were indoors, if you weren't outside, you were either indoor playing slot car racing with the racetracks, or you were, you know, building model kits and things like that. Most as a kid, of course, everything you did, was outdoors. We lived outside. Then some of the things that we had, certain toys growing up were outside toys. There was a gun called Screamy Mimi, and it was had all kind of things. It was like a machine gun. It was like a missile launcher, a grenade launcher. That's a very hard um, toy to find. I don't have one. I had it when I was a kid, but very hard to find. I'm sure you could find them out there. Uh, there's just so many things that are getting really rougher and rougher to find when it comes to toys. Uh, and if you do find them, now the way prices are, people are asking unreal prices, and the shipping. I don't get it. You're purchasing a toy for $1,000, and maybe it weighs a pound, 2 pounds at the most, if that much, like the model kits. I doubt they're a pound. They want $100 in shipping. I mean, come on now. I mean, it's kind of outrageous and it's kind of insulting, but uh, anyway. But, Kiss growing up, I guess I was about 16 when I really started hearing them and listening to them. I had a few friends that were huge Kiss fanatics. I mean, like, a couple of my friends had everything they put out, everything, not just the records, but the lunch boxes, the posters. I mean, you name it. Whatever Kiss put out in the mid to late 70s, they had it. Their whole room was filled with this stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're really a Kiss fan, huh? But that's cool. It's what you like, And I've I've grown to appreciate Kiss so much more, especially when I met the band and met all the guys, and I really appreciated them more. And listening to them warming up, and some of Ace's guitar solos were, man, you know, warming up. They were awesome. And it's a shame because, they don't even put him in the top 50 great guitarists. And, he's a legend. He's an icon. You're talking about Kiss, okay? They're a huge icon. I'm not saying they're the Beatles. I'm not saying they're Led Zeppelin, but they're there. They're in the neighborhood. They're next door. Might even be in one of the rooms. As far as their popularity, well, their popularity at the time was like, man, crazy popularity. But, they don't give them the credit that's really due. I get it. I get it. You know, you have, bands like Styx who definitely earn the credit. I mean, they're an amazing band. Bands like REO Speedwagon and, la la la. But, Kiss, definitely. Uh, Styx, definitely. Yes, definitely. Bands like that. There were other bands that were good. UFO, Uriah Heep, so many. I mean, I can go on and on about the bands growing up back then that were great. Grand Funk Railroad, of course. I felt that Grand Funk Railroad never got the real recognition that they deserved. I mean, Mark Farner is, I love that dude. But, and he's still rocking and rolling. He's still doing good. You know, he's still great. He had an incident, some time back, and he had an NDE, and he was talking about it. You can look up the video. It's a very intriguing, interesting, and inspiring story about what he experienced uh, during his near death experience. Very neat. Great guy, man. Great guy. The song "Closer to Home," man. You know there are songs out there, and there are songs out there. "Closer to Home" by Grand Funk Railroad, "Solitude" by Black Sabbath, "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica, "Someone Saved My Life Tonight" by Elton John, which I think Elton John did a much better job on "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds" than the Beatles did. And, you know, songs like that were, you know, "Time" by Pink Floyd. These are songs that only come around once in 1,000 years, basically. You know, they were amazing pieces of great musical work. You know, a lot of good songs out there. Of course, I'm leaving a lot of great songs out, but to me, my personal opinion, get 'em, boy, get 'em. That's my dragon. You know, there's just so many out there in music that, you know, is so great. And you know, you can't refuse the greatness of rock and roll. You know, you can't, you know, whatever. I mean, anything from, you know, the early and mid 50s, you know, the doo-wop bands, and, you know, into the Motown sounds, and, you know, everything. Last night I was listening to, and I loved the Four Tops. You know, I loved the Spinners. I loved Melvin and the Blue Notes. I loved Teddy Pendergrass. I met him before his accident. I had worked opening a nightclub, and he would come up there. It was called Wild Monday Nights. It was for a radio station. And the radio station was WYLD, and it was down in New Orleans. And upstairs, WYLD would have their Wild Monday Night party. And Teddy Pendergrass came up there one night, and I got a chance to meet him. And maybe a year or two later, he unfortunately had his accident. And but I loved it. You know, the OJs, and God, so many great ones, so we were so blessed to have the music that we had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the 50s. If you like swing and things like that, I would even say, you know, in the 40s, there was some great music. I happen to love that kind of music. You know, I'm a huge Sinatra fan. I'm a huge Tony Bennett fan. You know, Al Martino, Dean Martin, Jerry Vale, all those guys I grew up with. My sister was engaged to Jerry Vale, but she was too young, and my dad didn't want her to be married. I think she was like 19 when Jerry Vale asked to marry her. He came over and asked my dad for his blessings and for her hand in marriage, and he's like, "I can't. I love you, Jerry, but I just can't." You know, I get it. You know, I get it. But so I just wanted to show these off, and want to, you know, get some other stuff together for my next video, because we're getting close to Halloween. We're getting really close. Today is the 18th, so getting there, getting pretty close. And I have some things in store. There are some things that I want to present that I just want to tear open the packages and the boxes and display them, but you know, I would ruin the toys, and they're worth a lot of money, and I don't feel it a justice to, show them in their packs. I like to display them. So I don't know. I might. There's a few things I might take out because I want to do the monsters in before Halloween, and I have a lot of monsters, but I have some of the McFarland monsters. That some of them are pretty cool, like Michael Myers and Jason and um, all them, Norman Bates, Jack the Ripper. I thought the Jack the Ripper was pretty cool. Um, uh, and they have another one. I was looking for it because I wanted to display it. It's probably either in storage or in another box. But I have another Hannibal Lecter figure, and it's when he's behind bars and when he kills the two cops, and it's that in his white outfit, and it's pretty graphic. It's pretty graphic. It's such a cool figure for what it is. So if I'm able to get that out before Halloween, I want to display that and show you that too. It's pretty strange. Now I have some other figures that are very rare, very expensive, and I shouldn't even bring it up because I'm about to put them up for sale. I really don't want them around, and it's from a certain movie in the 70's, a very famous horror movie in the 70's about a little girl that the devil. But uh, these figures that I have of her is are extremely expensive, extremely. I want to say NECA put them out, and one of them is her in the bed, and it's electronic. It runs by batteries, and you push a button, and her head spins around, and it plays the music. It's kind of creepy, but I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't want it around, so I'm putting it up for sale, and I'm not going to ask much for it. Someone wants to buy it, they could buy it. It's not going to be expensive at all. Maybe a little more than what I paid for it. I'm not out to, you know, make money off of that kind of thing. And also with it, um, I'm throwing in 4 original theatrical release movie posters of uh, uh, The Evil Dead, Creep Show 2, which it's a great poster. The art on it, it's great. I have the original Creep Show theatrical release, but I only have one of those, and I'm not selling it. It's worth a lot of money, but not that. It's cool, and I wouldn't sell it. But I have a couple of the Creep Show. So it's going to be the Evil Dead, Creep Show, The Omen, and Stand By Me, the original theatrical release. And so I'm throwing them in for free. And I looked up the prices of those posters, and they're in the hundreds. They're getting them for free if they want the collection of those that I don't want to really mention the name. You could pretty much guess. Um, they, I remember when that movie first came out, and I went and saw it. Okay, The Exorcist, and I remember I knew these people at the show, and they let me in for free, and I was, and maybe about 13 or 14, and it was weird because when I after the show ended, it was dark out, and I had caught the bus home, and look, right, the bus stop was right in front of this old abandoned, and we used to call it a haunted house. That's where the bus stop was. To stand in front of that house, just after watching the movie The Exorcist, I'm like, where the hell is that bus? When is it coming? It was kind of creepy, man. But anyway, so I just want to bid everyone a good night, and thank you for taking the time to watch my video. And if you like what you see, hit like and subscribe if you like what you see and like what you hear. If not, like I said, it's fine. I get it. Some things are not for everyone. But anyway, I want to wish you a good night and have a pleasant Sunday and tomorrow and be blessed.